Boom, and welcome to another episode of Nobody Watching. I'm a curious soul. I like information. I like learning new things. I have bursts of inspiration buoyed by a chicken-counting mindset that generates notions of how great things could be in life if I could only just... whatever. My curiosity frequently expands into notions of whether I can do things, so I try them, sometimes to a fault. Not surgery or anything too, bloody, or anything that has to do with very large amounts of electricity or fire, but I'm not that restrictive either. While I have a fairly effective mental mechanism that clearly defines for me things I probably shouldn't do, mostly, I admit that I don't always fully know what I'm doing before I dive in. In my mind, a notion of confidence in my abilities, any available tools I have, and any knowledge or prior experience I possess can overcome any pitfalls I may face. The opportunity to face down and eradicate those pitfalls, no matter how small, is part of the addictive draw to trying things in the first place. Like looking at a broken thing and thinking, hey, I can fix that. Or looking at something somewhere and thinking, hey, I can make one easy enough that looks just like it. The triggers are vague. I suppose it's the gentler side of self-assuredness or arrogance or stubborn pig-headed ignorance. It's just hard to determine when you may be out of your depth until it's just too late to turn back and your only option is to boldly forge ahead. My mantra in these cases is everything is good until it isn't. I suppose I visualize a lot. I see what I think I want in the end result to be and work to make that happen. Problems are learning opportunities, and the leading mindset seems to be, screw it, what could go wrong? The upside to that is that it can be incredibly satisfying if and when everything works out. The downside is that so many things could go wrong. Broken stuff, leftover parts, unplanned expenditures, personal injury, and so on. Still, it is immersive and a tad addictive. As an example, I like to make cakes. I make them like this, but I also make them like this. I made this for one of my daughter's birthdays, and it was one of the biggest, most complicated cakes I would make so far, even though it didn't have a motor. It ended up being 3 feet tall. I'm not Buddy Valastro. I don't have a creative team behind me. I didn't have a lot of time or resources for a lot of planning and trial cakes and so on. Instead, the ask came in for a minion cake, and my brain just said yes. Of course. What could be so hard? What could go wrong? When I get into something, I commit fully, to the extent that I'm capable, to see that thing through to the end, all else be damned. Luckily, the cake turned out great. The only real miscalculation was time. If I had a plan of how I should approach the thing, I wouldn't have been adding final touches as kids were coming to the door for the event. To look at it today, it boggles my mind as to how I pulled it off. Coming out of the fog of concentration and construction, the finished product feels disconnected from me in some way. I did that? Weird, right? Seeing it today, I also think of things I would do differently if there was a next time. Someone suggested that I make big cakes like that and sell them, but I instantly imagined how boring that would be and frustrating and how likely I would get sick of smelling and tasting sugar all day. The build was exhilarating. There was a lot of figuring out to do on the fly. There were also some scary moments when things spun out of control a bit, or something that happened that I couldn't expect, and then the pressure loomed. Because if I was not successful, and if the cake did not look right, the party, while I would not say it would be ruined, it would certainly have been less than, with photos of a sad yet edible monstrosity posted everywhere to remind me of my misguided hubris. The strange thing is, after I complete a project like that, I'm on to the new next thing. I'm not so interested in doing another variation of the thing I just did. I want a new adventure, a new project, a new thing to make me wonder if I could really pull it off. It's a fun, fascinating, frustrating mindset to have. It can be especially unnerving to the people you live with. You're asking the people that rely on you to trust that you can do the thing. And because you really have no prior evidence of having done the thing, they have to make that leap of faith with you and believe that the thing will be done and done well, or at least well enough. They want to be supportive and helpful and involved, but these adventures often feel like a journey for one, unless you need someone to hand you a screwdriver or something. When I'm knee-deep in it and they conveniently or inconveniently determine it's the time to ask how things are going, or if I thought of doing something a different way, I have no good answers for them. At that point, I'm not done. I'm still in the figuring out mode, and those questions are best left for the debrief after the whole mess is concluded. They want and deserve reassurance, but I have none to give them. Fun, right? At the end of it all, I'm comfortable putting cake construction engineer on my resume of life. Your resume of life is different from your career resume because your resume of life reflects all the amazing skills and abilities that reach well beyond those that are often required for you in the work world. All those skills that make you you, be it amazing storyteller dad, or excellent knot tire, or pizza dough master, or tie-dye t-shirt guru, ultimate book organizer, or small radio repair guy, or popcorn aficionado, and on and on and on. Pay attention to the things that motivate you to do hopefully mostly legal things, so you can have amazing mostly legal adventures and learn amazing mostly legal things about who and what you are. And we'll see you next time.